Hello and welcome to your weekly episode of the Fools Rush In STFC podcast. We're working with a small panel this week to review the Port Vale victory, but some sad news coming in today as we send our best wishes to the friends and family of former town player Jamie Vincent, who passed away it was announced passed away earlier today. Played for the club over 3 years, making just over 80 appearances, and he'd be a sad miss to all of the fan bases and clubs that he represented, including our own. So our best wishes to his friends and family. Joining me for this episode, I have with me Ben. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, Stephen. And yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you. We also have Kieran with us. How are you, pal?
Not too bad. I just thought as Rich isn't here, I'd bring something for the ladies. So here we go.
And some men.
Whatever
floats you up. We're non-discriminatory here.
Mm-hmm.
And also on the panel tonight is Woody. How are you, pal?
Evening, not too bad. Echo those comments on Jamie Vincent. Incredibly great guy as well. He's one of those footballers, I think, as well, that was consistent. I think he was in some kind of bad run of teams really for us, but I think a really nice guy. I was fortunate enough to meet him once, but yeah, incredibly nice guy. So very sad, and my thoughts with his family.
Yeah, he's definitely up there, like like Lee Peacock sort of era people. Like,
yeah,
for me, he's one of the people that was one of the first sort of players I'd have seen at the county ground. Sort of, he was always about and sort of one of in those teams that I think about being sort of my era, sort of getting into Swindon. Yeah. Incredibly nice guy, sort of like there, Lee Peacock, and he'll be a huge miss for his family and friends, I'm sure.
And Ben, was there anything you wanted to add to that as well?
Yeah, no, it was a great left back. He came in, won promotion with us under Sturrock. You're right with the Peacock thing. He was a part of that era. Lee Peacock tweeted this evening actually some nice words, just saying the sort of bloke you need when you're in the trenches, and he was that sort of player. He had a very impressive CV, reliable, Mr. Reliable, as Woody says, 7 out of 10 every week. Ran his heart out for the club and gave everything he could. Fully committed player, and sad loss.
No, absolutely. If we can, then let's turn our attention to the current crop. And at the weekend, I know we had an at-length discussion on last week's episode between Ben's opinion on whether the game was must-win and Woody's opinion on whether the game was must-win. And there was a slight differing of opinions. Thankfully, for all concerned, Woody got what he wanted, and it was a must-win, and we did win, Woody.
Yeah, and I went as well. Last-minute decision to go because my game was called off, and I knew that Rich had asked me the night, a couple of nights before, I think. So yeah, I went up, and a good game as well, a really good game. I think we deserved to win. Port Vale, if I'm brutally honest, watching them, I'm really shocked they are where they are in the league, if I'm brutally honest. I didn't think they weren't tremendously bad, but we were just all over them. We genuinely, I could comfortably say that's probably in terms of the team we've dominated the most, but made the most of that domination, where that was the best we've been in terms of, we went with an attacking intent. We still played out from the back. We still did some of the things that frustrate fans, but it looked like it paid off. We were making more of that final third, and fair play to McCurdy as well. I mean, he had a fantastic game, and I think a few of them had a fantastic game, actually. I think Odemayo was particularly impressive considering his recent run of form. Rob Hunt, again, the kind of almost in the nicest comparison, almost like a Jamie Vincent, just Mr. Reliable, and he did really well. It's a really good game. We played really well. I was absolutely chuffed. We did go up there to win the game. You could tell that by the way we played. And I'm glad we did because obviously their dodgy keeper who's had like 150 sending-offs in his career, you can see why. And I think that was an interesting point, that penalty, because genuinely because all of our fans were at the other end, we thought it was a foul against Harry McCurdy. So that long period in between, we're all sat there going, what? And it was only because Richard's mate round by us text us because he was watching it on iFollow, I think. And he said, oh, they're talking about a red card for the goalkeeper. And we're like, how? Because from our angle, from where we were all stood, it looked like a foul, if anything, just a collision from McCurdy. But yeah, great game. Really impressed with them on Saturday. That is a way to recover from the recent run of form.
Okay, there's a couple of things I want to pick up on there, but as you've raised the point, Woody, that let's talk about the penalty incident specifically. And Ben, Kieran, obviously, we're all here active on social media, and we do this podcast every week, at least once a week. We're clearly quite happy to be biased towards our team, although I like to think we're quite balanced and measured in our views. If we're shit, we'll say we're shit as well. There's nothing funnier, in my opinion, than when if you're not at a game, but you kind of know what's going on, and you're scrolling through Twitter, in my case, and you're seeing, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 Port Vale fans questioning how this is a penalty.
Oh.
And then you see the footage of what actually happens, and suddenly there is tail between legs.
Yeah,
because as well.
I'd seen it. I just finished soft playing as I out having food with the daughter, and I must have just got on my phone at the right point. Everyone's going, everyone's going, oh, we got a penalty, and all the Port Vale fans going absolutely mental about it. But thanks to the hero that is Ian on Twitter, you see it. I watched it back quite quickly, and I was like, how are they moaning about that? The keeper's just gone through McCurdy, and even the replay probably doesn't do it justice. I think it's probably a lot worse if you were at that end in person.
Well, so it says a lot, I think, when he's running over, lifting his top up to show stud marks in his ribcage.
Yeah, I think that's the bit that may not have helped where he's actively, properly trying to get him sent off. But I don't get why people moan about that, because you would love it if your team are doing it. And that's football. It happens against you so many times in a season. It'll always happen against you. So it's nice when one goes for you. And there'll be a one that goes for you later on in the season you'll be buzzing about. But then I'd love to go find their tweets and go, well, hold on, you didn't like it when someone did it to you.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to note, and fair play to him, because I'm not his biggest fan, but Daryl Clark after the game as well was very much like, what a stupid moment by my keeper. And that says a lot. And I think although McCurdy showing his stud marks might have assisted the sending off, I actually probably think it assisted the penalty more than the sending off, because he's kind of saying, this is where he's contacted me. So he's blatantly had contact. And obviously the lino's then gone, well, he did have his leg raised. Where else is that going to come from? So it's, I think although it did help the red card, I also think it probably helped the penalty decision as well.
Ben, I know you were going to say about the social media element of it as well, and then the reaction of the Port Vale fans.
Oh, it was hilarious, especially the Port Vale admin who had a sort of minor strop when the penalty was given. It was hilarious.
It's even funnier when it's from an official club admin, isn't it?
So immediately you scroll past the comments and he's just trolled by about 40, 50 Swindon just with photos of kung fu fighting. And it's absolutely hilarious. But yeah, it's great. It's great when it's the opposition. It's not so funny when it's us. But no. I think we've had some pretty dire decisions go against us recently. So I think we deserve that one. And we would have won the game anyway. If the game carried on the same way it was going to go, we would have pulled them apart in the second half when their players would have got tired and gaps would have opened up. So, it was a great performance and the right result, and possibly the best performance of the season. What I'm hearing for people that went.
Well, on that subject, Woody, if I can bring you back in, obviously we've got our usual mailbag feature at the end, but Oaks Road on Twitter sent us a question in, but also sent us something to do with the game. So I think it's pertinent we bring it in at this point while we're on the subject. He's asked thoughts on the performance of McCurdy and Gladwin, saying McCurdy's work rate and class, McCurdy's work rate and the class from Gladwin major factors in the victory. Players who, for different reasons, have had criticism on our podcast and online throughout the season. What do you make of those comments?
The McKirdy one I do agree with. And, you know, I held my hands up last week and said, even though I'm still not a fan of him in general, with obviously, as we know, but he has been playing brilliantly. He has been one of our best players the last few games. There's no doubt about that. And it was quite nice to see a player go back to their old club and be really fired up to play against them. And I think, you know, that's when, if you're like that, that's when you do get fans on your side, because they sit there and they want you to do really well. He had some absolutely terrible shots. There's no lie about that. McKirdy he had a couple of shots that went about 20 yards over the bar, but because he was that desperate to score against Port Vale. And even with the goal that was an own goal, because of where the pole was, I actually didn't know it was an own goal. I thought it was just a really crap cross that had gone into the net, and McKirdy had taken the credit for it. But Gladwin, I have to admit, from what I've seen on socials, I don't really agree. The only reason being, and this is funny because me and Rich were talking about it on the way home
if we can avoid it, I prefer not to talk about our young starlet, because now that he's had his 5 minutes of fame with us, he's not appeared on a couple of episodes because he's too good for us now. Okay,
me and another person who was very kind enough to drive me up to Port Vale on Saturday. But we said that Gladwin is one of those players, and this was before he got the penalty, and because he had made couple of little errors here and there before then. He is a 75-25 player. That 25% of the game is magical. He will do amazing passes. He'll take on players that he shouldn't be taking on, or he'll score a fantastic goal. It's the other 75% that irritates fans, and irritates me in particular, because I still think, even on Saturday, I thought in times he was a little bit lazy. You know, he's not because I wouldn't want to wear his boots because I'm sure they've got lead in them. But I don't know. It's something about him that irritates me, and I don't think we had that the last time Gladwin was here. Well, not the last time. Let's go for the time before, because the last time was a terrible loan spell, wasn't it? But I just something about. I feel like I want more from him. I want more than just that 10 to 25% of the game where he'll do something magical, which is probably what's going to keep him onto the pitch. I mean, there was this half volley pass that he knocked out to Ellis in the first half, which was, I don't even know. I can't even think of how you could coach a technique like that. And obviously the penalty was well struck. And he I think he was involved with one of the other goals as well. But for me, I wouldn't say that he was the pinnacle point of the game. I would say McKirdy definitely was one of the major factors of the game, but not Gladwin. He had an okay game, and like I say, that 25% he was really good, but that other 75, I don't think he outshone anybody else really in that other 75%.
No, that's great, thank you. The victory brought Swindon into a relatively small
4-0 Westbury now.
Cheers. The win has brought, I don't know if you guys have seen this stat yet, but the win over Port Vale has put Swindon into a small sort of elite club. They are now one of only 10 EFL clubs to have won 200 plus league games since the 11-12 season.
And not gone higher than League One.
And still not gone higher than League One, yeah.
How many have we fucking lost?
But Swindon do join that elite list from the last decade now of what, like I say, one of only 10 clubs to have won 200 plus league games in the decade. Hopefully, we're on the way towards 300 and maybe promotion beyond League One.
That stat is that stat is hilarious.
Yeah,
I think it's obviously it's not a bad stat to have, but it reminds me of like when they brought in things like expected goal stats and
oh God.
when the NFL,
the expected goal stats, one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Key passes. Although I do kind of see the point in the key pass stat, but at the same time, it's just like it feels like they're grabbing stats for the sake of grabbing stats now.
The one if we're talking stupid stats, in my opinion, the only one that's worse than expected goals is this new popular one of the pre-assist or the assist. Like, you don't need to know who set up the assist.
If it's in the Fantasy Premier League, though, I'll take
it. Do they record that, do they? Oh, they don't yet.
No, they don't yet, but they will do. I'm waiting for them to start fucking records broken, because everyone seems to break a record every week, no matter what they do. Like, oh, they didn't cover that blade. That blade of grass hasn't been covered since 1982. Mo Salah's done it.
Records are there to be broken. So the fact that in this
but I'm sure they start making records up this season about Salah. But every week you watch him against Liverpool, he's broken this record now. So I'm just like, they make up whatever fits it. Oh, it's the only Egyptian, about the 4 that have played in the Premier League.
Him and Mido.
Like, it's just they just do it to like make him sound better than he is. He's good, but But anyway, moving on. Who's top of the Fantasy Premier League?
Well, we're coming on to the Fantasy Premier League in a minute, but you mentioned, you gave us the live update a minute ago. We are recording while Swindon Town are in action in the Wiltshire Shield, currently 4-0 down with 85, 86 minutes on the clock. So I can't see us turning that round personally.
And he's so Price didn't score.
Would you be slightly concerned, Ben, if I mentioned that our new signing, the goalkeeper we recently signed, is in goal tonight, conceding 4?
No, not really. He's the third choice keeper. He's I haven't seen the goals, to be honest. If he's dropping crosses and letting them through his legs, I possibly would be. But I think he's only on a short-term contract anyway, so if he's crap, he'll be let go in the summer. And we've got 2 keepers. I don't think Jojo's going to be sold between now and...
Well, actually, Woody, I wanted to bring you in here because for all the absolute banter that this year's AFCON has given us, with referees finishing games 5 minutes early and team countries getting into fights after the full-time whistle for no obvious reason, among other things.
Comedy goals.
I've missed today's results. Is Jojo on his way home?
I think so.
Yeah,
they've come down last time I heard.
They lost to some random...
They lost to an island that's about the size of, like, Jersey.
Smaller than Madagascar, isn't it?
Oh, way smaller. Way.
So that's 2 defeats and a draw, isn't it, for them? So I think that's them coming home. So I think Jojo.
If only they'd had 3. If only they had 2 more draws. Been a win.
3 draws equals a win.
Then they've gone through. Yeah.
Okay. Let's. It is a fairly short episode this week, as it is anyway. But Woody was happy to skip over our weekly update of the Fantasy Premier League. But Kieran, I believe you've come on specifically to talk about it.
Well, I hadn't come. I had actually come to, but despite rumours, I'd come on to talk about Swindon. But let me just load it up. We'll just see how it's going on. Oh, Ned's at the bottom, strongest man in the league.
Sending my best to Ned as well. Haven't spoken to him in the week.
Good. Gary's second from bottom. Fifey's having a very good week. Had a very good week on it, to be fair. Good 57 points, but it's only
played my wild card.
He's three more points, and he'll hit 1,000, so he can join that illustrious club. Just above him is Warren on 1,019 points, having a mixed game week.
Having a nap.
Having the best game week out of everyone is old Benjamin Nichols with 3 draws for a win, with 64 points. Meaning he's hit 1,060 points.
Not Chicken 69 points.
Chicken 69.
9 more points to be fine. Third is the one that's abandoned the ship, and Rich. He's got a strong 15 points this week. But the only person having a worse week than him, and I don't know, is Adam Wood in second with 13 points this week. But still top and reigning over us, and that gap's just, look, I'm sure I think it's getting bigger. Is me, obviously.
Honestly, Kieran, we're actually looking at the moment. If you look at the table, I'm catching Woody and I'm catching Rich up.
You're in contention. Yeah, you're in contention for the second spot.
I'm getting Champions League, mate. I'm popping up.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
Woody's given up.
Woody can maybe, if he wants to, try and explain
Woody,
what happened if he wants. But even I scored more points than him and Rich combined this week.
To be fair, when you consider only 1, 2, 3, 4 players have actually scored in points, but there's more to come off his bench yet. To be fair.
Oh yeah. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice. I got 10
You've
points.
Actually got more points on your bench than in your
12
team.
points. I got 12 points on the bench and 15 points in the team. So,
I should have bench boost today.
Oh yeah. Well, I've already done bench boost. I think I did it earlier in the season.
But yours will come into the squad for your 1, 2, 3, 4 players that have been about that aren't there anyway. 5 players.
Your 4 players that have been abandoned.
Yeah. Well, to be fair,
he forgot to change it, didn't he?
I'm actually relishing. Oh, I haven't changed it for a couple of weeks now, as you can tell, with all the red marks next to
Salah.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think I haven't recorded more than about 23 points for the past 4 weeks, and I'm still sat in second. So that shows you how Tottenham Hotspur I was. Oh. That shows you how Tottenham Hotspur I was, that I was chasing the top 2 and I would probably finish 3rd.
Very Spursy. Finished 3rd in the 2-horse race.
You mentioned earlier, Woody, your game got postponed at the weekend, hence your ability to go to the Vale fixture. But how about the rest of the STFC ladies teams? Was there any action this weekend?
Yeah, so the first team are through to the Wiltshire final. They beat Durrington, I think it's pronounced Durrington, 9-0.
Solid.
I mean, to be fair, you know, the first team are a couple of leagues above Durrington. I mean, we did mix the squads around a little bit this weekend. I personally went out to watch our development side because obviously one of my under-16s plays for them. They won 4-0 against Chipping Sodbury, which was so a good weekend. 13 goals for the women and none conceded, so no real complaints. They've got Christian's lovely Cheltenham on Thursday night, which is going to be quite decent, and a game under the lights, which will be a very difficult game. And then my team are playing on Saturday against Froome, and then the development are away to AEK Bocco on Sunday. So
where's that?
Yeah, it's Bristol way. It's quite an established club in Bristol. I think their men's club are the same level as, I believe they're kind of the same level as around like the Bassets and things like that around here. But
it sounds like they should be South American.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where they got the name from. I know I've taken teams there to play before, so I'd be quite interested to know where they got their name from. But because they got AEK, which you would associate with Greece, and then you got Bocco, which you would associate with South America, like you say. So it'd be quite interesting. But
well, on the off chance that anyone representing AEK Bocco is happening to watch this, please let us know where you got your name from.
Yeah, we'll put it out on a tweet. But genuinely,
I'll do it now. I'll do it right now while we're recording.
They have actually probably got a Twitter handle, so no.
They have because I had to tag them in it. So it's but definitely, and as a little plug on that, on Thursday night, get up to Fairford. I have to say up because it's up for us. Get up to Fairford, and Swindon Cheltenham should be a really good game, to be honest. So if anybody's not doing anything, Cheltenham are having a storming season, and Swindon seem to be slowly picking it back up again. So I'd really encourage people to get down there if they can. Up there.
Did you see Forest Green Rovers got abandoned after 4 minutes?
Yeah, Fog. I've seen that.
Why would they even kick the game off?
No.
Because I had a friend's there because he supports them because he's mentally deranged. And he was behind their goal. You couldn't see the other goal from the other end. So how they ever let that game kick off, I'll never know. But we've full time at Westbury United. We have lost 4-0 to arguably what I've heard is one of the best teams in Wiltshire. And I think they're like up there with Man City. They had Ruben Diaz playing for them. I think we may have just turned up for that one. So we didn't get fined £500.
Are better than Man City because at least they kept a clean sheet against us. We could score against Man City. So
yeah, and we're better than Chelsea in theory. Westbury should actually be the champions of Europe.
Should be champions of the world, Westbury.
Well, let's give Westbury our congratulations for winning tonight. As much as we'll be devastated not to be in the final of the Wiltshire Shield. I've just hit send on that tweet. I found the handle for the men's team, not the women's team. So I've asked them where they got their name from, nonetheless.
Yeah, I think they're under the.
They're going to be like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah. Who's this guy?
But we have a small matter of a derby game this weekend to preview before.
Is it a derby game though?
Well, it depends who you
What's the
ask.
C would be?
For the interest of
small team that come and annoy us.
in the interest of building up the atmosphere a little bit, we'll say yes.
Maybe
Prior to discussing it though, we do have a question in the mailbag to which we still need to answer. And again, it's from Ocus Road on Twitter, and he's asked me to pass on, as we sit here now, given we did our pre-season predictions, and I know when I was off around Christmas time, you guys recorded an episode where you spoke about those predictions. Sitting here now, where do you think Town will finish in the league? He believes, and his words are, "I'm thinking we will catch the green mob and win League Two again." Ben, I will ask you first. Right now, where do you think we will finish in the league?
It's a hard one right now because January's not over yet. So you've just got to look into the crystal ball and think about the 5 signings that we're going to make between now and January. So I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to say 4th. I think we'll be in the playoffs.
Woody?
I'm on mute. I'm a bit more. I don't think we'll catch them. Although I did think that they would slip at some point. I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic and think we could seal 3rd now, or not seal 3rd, but we could grab 3rd, but it will be a hard slog.
Christian? Fuck you, Christian. That's because I can see his picture in the background, Kieran. It's because his picture's there. All I saw was his face.
It's 80s backdrop. It does look like some weird 80s singer.
You've put yourself. You appear to put yourself on mute somehow without actually putting yourself on mute, because we can't hear a thing you're saying.
Now
we can. Yep.
Oh, you missed. I wondered why you didn't laugh at something I said. I was like, "Fucking," I don't know what it was. I asked him, Ocus Road, "Are you fucking pissed? Or what are you on?" Because I want some of that. Also, that insult is worse than called. I'd rather have been called John Sheridan than that. But I think we will finish 4th or 5th. The way we're too inconsistent, I think, to finish in the automatic spots. I'd love to be proved wrong, but I think 4th or 5th, which isn't a bad season for us. It may, considering the squad, be underperforming, but I don't. As long as we go up, really, I don't really care how we do it. I'd rather avoid the playoffs because we're shit at them, no matter who's there and whatnot. But I think we need to go up, and I'd ideally finish 3rd. I don't really care for winning League Two. Let's just get out of it.
We were good at playoffs when people like Craig and Christian were your age, but not since.
God.
Just throw that in there because we get the abuse by the.
We won at the old Wembley 3 times, and then everyone went, "Oh, look, we've never lost at Wembley." Went there, the new one. I haven't fucking scored it yet. Everyone went, I was like, "Wow, I think the old Wembley legacy is we can't keep riding on that. We're going to sound like the Scousers at some point." But I found Ben's job on the podcast. He can now be the diary or like the calendar to let us know when the months are over. Going January over.
If I'm to answer the question, it's very difficult. I mean, if we look at the table as it is at the minute, we're 5 points from 2nd, but we're also 5 points from 9th. It's still very tight. I think you're right. It's very much dependent on what happens transfer wise this month. But ever the optimist, I'm going to say we will finish top 2. Top 2. I will keep the belief and say we'll finish top 2.
Those glasses rose tinted you got on there.
Always.
Right, sorry, I'll say it like this. Are those glasses rose tinted that you got on there?
Is that your Cheltenham accent?
I'd like to
is it?
apologise. I condemn those Cheltenham fans that got done today. Very rude of them.
Well, that was special.
Just like me.
So let's move on then. So we got the lunchtime game at the weekend. Whether you want to class it as a derby or not,
What time do you classify as lunchtime?
Hey?
What time do you classify as lunchtime?
Well, it's a 1 p.m. kickoff, isn't it?
Is it lunchtime? I'd say that's more like mid-afternoon snack time.
1 p.m. is mid-afternoon. The fuck are you talking about? Jesus. I mean, I'm not being funny. The time we're recording now, I'd love to know what you call this, because we've got people waiting in the background waiting to go to bed, and you're on about 1 o'clock being mid-afternoon.
Early evening.
Listen, we got Rovers. They've come up again in various episodes, almost as a bit of a joke at times. But looking at the game, Ben, they're 16th in the table. Are you concerned or are you fairly confident?
I think it's going to be probably a scrappy game. It's a Joey Barton team. I think they should be doing better than they are, but I don't rate Barton that much as a manager. But I think he'll probably bring us down to his level, and I think he'll just try and kick the shit out of our players most of the game. And I think it's going to be a bit of a scrappy affair, but I'm hopeful we win. I'm actually quite confident we'll do all right, because I think Barton also will come and try and beat us, and they're not as good as us, so I think we'll beat them for that reason.
And I'm going to throw
a good atmosphere, because they'll pack out the away end, and so we'll be up. Swindon fans will be up for it. There's going to be about 12,000 there. Rovers is going to bring about 2,000, so it's going to be brilliant. So it's good.
Woody?
Yeah, I think I'm confident we'll win. It might be a scrappy game, but I just feel that can we be the team that gets Joey Barton sacked? But
did you not say this when we played them earlier in the season, though?
Probably, and they probably should have been sacked then. But I'm going to go with I think we will concede. It's going to be a 2-1 win, and I think it's going to be a bit of a scrappy game, but I don't care as long as we win.
Yeah.
Kieran? Yeah. You've gone quiet again.
Hey, what the fuck? Hello, no, oh fuck, is it back?
There we go.
You're back.
Jesus.
you go all quiet, then all we can hear is fuck, 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 fuck. Is it back?
So I don't know. It always worries me, these type of games, because they're similar to cup games. Form book sort of goes a bit out the window. And then
oh my God! Should we change your name to Cliche?
Cliche? Oh, fuck off. Well, I remember in fucking 2010, everyone was like, "Oh, we're gonna go beat Rovers. It's gonna be a fucking piece of piss." They come beat us 4-0, and I think it's one of the worst town performances I've seen, and one of the worst displays I've ever seen by a town team. And we were in the playoffs that year. We looked like we're going automatic at that point. That was one of the games that fucked us that season. So let's do that again. But no, I think it's gonna be a difficult game. As I say, I think it's going to be a lot more scrappy. They're going to be a shithouse team, which we don't do very well against, especially at home this year. Sort of like your Carlisles and stuff that have come here and taken points by kicking the shit out of us, time wasting. If they get an early goal, take the lead sort of late into the second half on the hour mark, I think we'll struggle. I fucking hate Joey Barton. He's an absolute cunt. He's a horrible bloke, and he shouldn't be anywhere near a football team. So they deserve all they get. But I think it'll be a 2-2 draw, if I'm honest. We're just going to go with that. I think I can see it being a draw, but it's going to be one of the games where Garner's going to be properly up for it again, like he was away from home, because he obviously hates Rovers and fucking hates Barton as well.
Yeah.
Which is good, which is why we love Ben Garner. The problem is Barton's going to be up for it after us beating him already this season, and their fans already don't like him. But hopefully he's just doing a John Sheridan and really doesn't care anymore and just throws out like the youth team or something. That would be hilarious.
Okay, as you've raised the point here, Kieran, I'm going to ask you guys as one final question, and it's going to then form the title of tonight's episode, and I'll be throwing it out on our socials as well to ask as many people their opinion as possible. So Ben, you're first. Is this a derby?
Yeah, it is. Bristol City's a derby. They'll come down in numbers. It's going to have a derby type of atmosphere to it. It's not a derby as in sense of it's very loose derby. It's not like Reading. It's not like Bristol City. It's not like Oxford. It's not like one of them. It's a friendly derby. I remember when it absolutely pissed down one night and they were all in the laundrette having a bit of a sing-song, getting all their clothes dry, and it was all a bit of fun, really. So I don't think there's going to be much trouble at all or anything like that. So, but it is a derby. It will have that atmosphere to it.
Woody, is this a derby?
Yes, but only
for those of
because-
you on the audio only version, there was a lot of eye rolling going on before he answers that question.
Yeah, it's difficult because I mean, you look at the definition of derby, it's about playing in the same city or town, and I do wonder if you've got the likes of Oxford, Bristol, they're only seen as derbies because, well, we haven't got anybody else in our town that we can really go up against.
Westbury.
Westbury United. They're not in our town. So
notoriously in Swindon, Westbury.
Yeah.
Well, they're Wiltshire, aren't they? They're in Wiltshire. They're in the
Right,
same
you can't even get a train to Westbury sometimes at night.
county. They're a county.
But yeah, so if we're associating derby with the modern kind of rivalry, then yes, it is. But as a traditional derby, no. They can fuck off. Just that big FA Cup day out.
No, they're a Bristol, not a derby.
Oh,
God. I just didn't realise my dad was on the pod now.
Your dad's very good
dad
looking fella than it
jokes.
is. Sorry, I thought about in Christian spirit. I think it's a rivalry. It's a strong hatred for them. Not a strong hatred, strong dislike. Sorry, I think they're more of an annoying team. I don't think either of the Bristol clubs what our classes are derby. Our derby is now Oxford these days. That's where the pure hate is. No love's lost. Like Oxford fans don't wander around Swindon fucking washing their knickers in laundrettes.
No.
So, and I think Bristol City think they're a little bit more as well. So I think it's just a strong dislike. But yeah, there's no other word for it. They have to call it a derby. But
it's that differentiating between a rivalry and a derby, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Rovers is very much more a rivalry. They're predominantly really like a lower league, non-league sort of type club. Got a non-league feel to them. It's like them having their big day out each time they come and having their cup finals.
The Mem is a rugby ground. Any team that plays at a rugby ground or a non-league team.
Bristol City now play at a rugby ground, and to be fair,
they play rugby team and they're a non-league team.
Fucking. I dislike them, but I think that might be taking the piss a little bit.
Well, Bristol City have only been knocking about since 1982. I
love how we're playing Rovers. Fucking got back on the City, and we're now fucking more on City. So I think that answers your question. We don't really care that much about Bristol Rovers.
Well, Bristol Rovers are like the little brothers of the.
I'm surprised Bristol Rovers' main derby is Bristol Manor Farm, or Mangotsfield.
And on that absolutely joyous note, I'm going to bring this week's episode to a close. Gentlemen, thank you as always for your time. As we've been saying, if you want to join the team and come on for one episode or come on weekly, message us on Facebook, on Twitter, any way you can get a hold of us. We will be happy to get you involved. If you went to the Westbury game, sorry. And if you're going to Rovers, have a wonderful time. I'm sure whether you class it as a derby or not, the atmosphere should be good, and we're all hoping for a positive result. Until next time from Fools Rush In, it's goodbye.
Bye for me as well.